Today's topic is about beginning anything. Well, as athletes, I expect some physical activity for supporting your body functions, but as you like, you can apply the technique to anything. If you, for example, have troubles anytime you begin with a new sports activity, a nutrition or training strategy, stay tuned because in this episode, we will talk about what challenges you face beginning something new and how to work around them. No matter if you're a beginner or a pro in your discipline, the hardship of beginning is the same for everyone. Even if you train nonstop for several years, it's cyclical. While you get on with life, many things happen. Sometimes you stop because you simply injure yourself. Or you get a pretty heavy project at work that makes you happy, but you pursue that for so long, and in the end, it keeps you logging a lot of hours. Or maybe you've become a parent and your routine just gets disrupted. There's no way out of it. The point is, every once in a while, you have to get back to your training routine. And that's hard. Maybe even worse than being a true beginner. Because as a seasoned athlete, you know what level you could reach. And it hurts inside to start all over again. This is the friction we experience when we try to change our habits. Hey there, you're listening to EJR and this is Athlete. If you're like me, you probably tried 1 zillion times to get and maintain yourself fit. And you failed. There's nothing wrong about you. You just need to keep trying. For me, it all started in survival mode. Following an accident around my 20s, I had to learn from scratch how to train from within and not simply copying what a perfectly trained trainer showed me or told me to do. That never works, by the way. At least not long term. And so I started learning how to train tailoring to my unique goals, which also makes me more accountable in keeping healthy habits in check. In this podcast, I share the tricks and secrets about why you keep failing in training and nutrition and what you can do about it. In this episode, we'll cover 5 topics. Topic number 1, being a beginner. What happens when you are a true beginner or when you just get ready to kick off again your sports routine, and how your interactions with other athletes can make or break the deal of keeping you in training. Topic number 2, making yourself accountable. You need to find a way to be objective on your progress, but at the same time, you shouldn't stress over details that do not serve the bigger picture of your goals. We'll see how to find a balance and what are the right tools to employ depending on your specific needs. Topic number 3, the excuse versus the reason. You already know what I'm talking about. We'll delve into recognizing the excuse versus the reason to not do your training today. Topic number 4, mood regulators. We'll discuss how mood regulators affect our action and inaction to perform well and what tools you can use when you're truly stuck. Finally, topic number 5, listening to your body. I would like to stress how important it is to listen to our bodies when it comes to, well, our body. We'll check some interesting findings from the field of neuroscience, and I hope it will help you to see things from another perspective. All right, topic number 1, we said being a beginner. So, when you're truly beginning, you're often overwhelmed. There's so much about the discipline you choose, the coaching, the clothes, the tools you may need, the best nutrition to follow, the fear of overspending on all of them, and frankly, a lot to learn in general, starting from yourself. The reality is that knowing all those things is useless without the knowledge of how your body reacts to such external stimuli. Have you ever wondered why you shouldn't wear new sportswear at your 5K? Well, it's because you need to adapt to the sportswear and you need to make sure that it's comfortable enough. So you will have to experience it multiple times in different conditions. So one day may be hot, another may be cold or raining. And you need to get to know your body possibilities, boundaries, and eventual issues. Understanding your body allows you to build a solid capacity for performing your discipline. So, for now, relax and try to live the experience of moving. If you're not entirely new to physical activity, you may be just out of your routine. So much that the more you don't do, the more you don't want to do. That's a great wall you need to breach. And for that, there's only the first action that can set a precedent. So, no matter if you're feeling down, just do it. As some popular brand will say, right? You need to make that first sacrifice, which is definitely something you won't really want to do. But once you start, I promise you, it will be over. This applies also to newbies. You will experience low motivation so often that you understand that relying on that isn't enough. Motivation comes and goes so fast that you have no chances if you stand on motivation only. So first things first. Get started, make sure you do it, and live through the experience. Now, there's something interesting I want to share with you. Have you ever had that feeling of embarrassment when you're training close to someone who is definitely better than you? You may look at them and think, she must for sure notice how bad I am. He can see I'm a beginner and much far away from doing anything decent. Damn, I must look so stupid doing this, and I want to disappear at this very moment. Well, it's funny, because when I see someone who is less advanced than me training, I never think none of the above mentioned things about them. Never. What I do feel for them is actually appreciation. I look at them and I think, wow, she must be very brave to keep going. It must feel very hard for her, and still she keeps going. I wish I had the same mental strength. In fact, I would go so far to end up thinking, well, even if I'm good, I feel sluggish today. I can do more compared to her, sure, but I could do better. See? Eventually, I would be able to make it about me. How bad I'm performing compared to someone else, a less advanced person even. Independently of our levels, we are always slaves of our own thoughts. The truth is that even if you train with other people who eventually look at you, nobody really cares about your training's level. Also, come on, you're not invisible and people are curious. We like to look at each other's faces and wonder what is the life of the other person. We do this all the time because we are humans. So people will look at you, but it doesn't mean they're thinking how bad you are or how much they dislike you. As a matter of fact, they may well think how cool your t-shirt is and how much they would like to have your taste. You see where I'm going? Everybody has always something to envy to someone else. It's natural. And most importantly, they're not thinking about your inability to perform well. Now, consider this. While training close to higher level pals can be motivating and pushing you to reach the same level, or at least trying to spring at a closer level, it can also create lots of noise in your head. It can distract you. That's why keeping track of your successes will do the trick to finally shut that noise, that constant comparison and delusional thoughts. After all, if you don't write it down, your perceptions and memories are subjective. Listen here. What if you make yourself accountable, regularly monitoring yourself and reviewing those metrics once in a while? Make videos of yourself or measure how long you practice along with other important statistics that can help you understand where you're directed. Practicing just for practicing not only won't give you any solid benefit, but it can bore you to the point that you'll stop doing it altogether. Or you will have too long pauses from physical activity, which will eventually kick you back to square zero. And do you know what happens when you take those long breaks from your discipline? Your brain will store the body capacity that your muscles won't retain for so long. Yes, your brain is better at keeping track than your body. It's a fact. This will most probably injure you at some point. You will go confident to be able to do what 1 or 2 weeks ago did without issues, and only when it's too late, you will discover that your body won't respond as predicted. This is dangerous, and therefore you should stop being inconsistent. And this was actually leading us already to topic number 2, making yourself accountable. Okay, so make sure you know always where you stand, what your goals are, and how you want to achieve them. Be smart. And with smart, I don't mean intelligent. I mean to use the SMART framework. Now, before we dig deeper into the SMART framework, I want to make clear that you don't have to be that specific when it comes to making yourself accountable. If following up your training becomes too much of a chore and actually demotivates you so much that you won't come back the next time, I'd say start it easy. Make a picture and send it to your friends, or post it in our Aduthletes community, whatever you like, but do it. So next time you get back to your posts, you have a timeline to check. And in the process, you may even make more friends that share your same interests if they comment and ask you about it. Yes, your friends can literally function as effective reminders about your training progress. And they're not an alarm that you can easily switch off. I don't know how many times I get asked, how is my figure skating going? Because I shared so much about it that it is what comes to their mind when they chat with me. I want to stress that measuring doesn't need to become an obsession. And you definitely don't need to get crazy wasting time writing down statistics if you're always in a rush. But if you want to improve at some point and you're committed to spending a bit more effort, then using a supporting framework makes sense. All right, SMART is the acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I will talk about this framework, its boosting properties and pitfalls at length in another episode because it deserves a proper discussion since it was both glorified and criticized when used in different contexts. But for now, I would like you to start using this tool as a clarity tool, not necessarily as a fixed framework. So the theory says that your goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This theory has been criticized for not really helping to stick around physical activity. And as I said, I will have my say in the next episode. For today's purpose, think about it as something that can help you to do a sort of reality check. You need to be honest with yourself. What specifically do you want to achieve in your chosen sport discipline? How can you measure if you're progressing to your specific goal? Is this goal something you can realistically achieve? AKA, is it physically viable for your unique body? Is this goal relevant for you and your other long-term goals? Do you really need to achieve this goal as a mid-step for a bigger goal? Let's say a 5K or 10K towards a marathon? How long do you need to reach this goal, considering your time and body possibilities? After you answer these questions, forget about frantically measuring your progress to the initial measure plan you may make. Instead, adjust your plan on the go. Why? See, deviations from the plan are possible. But this means there's still a deviation. And what do you do when you're deviating too much from the plan? You feel bad and upbeat. You really want to avoid this, I am telling you. 99% of the time, you will deviate from your plan. All the time I spent creating perfect plans and then never following up as I initially wanted. This often destroyed my confidence and helped that little voice in my head telling me I wasn't fit for the discipline. If you instead start thinking, I will need 3 months, but I may take 5 if something unexpected happens. And this also means things like you will be a bit more tired because spring is coming and you just didn't remember how tired you used to feel when weather hits during seasons changes. In this way, you will give yourself a range. A higher range allows you to be a bit more relaxed and less stressed about reaching the daunting goal. But also, it will give you a bit more push because you don't really want to end up taking all the extra time allotted. You will be keeping track of your positive results instead of your negatives. Deviation from the plan is tracking how negative you performed. Instead, tracking how well you're performing in your range is just a measure because you're still in your original ranged plan. You see? All right, now we get to the third topic. The excuse versus the reason. What if you manage to create your ranged plan, but then you really struggle to be there as frequently as you need to be? And it's not a real time constraint. It's more of a procrastinating issue and lack of feeling like you can want to do it. These moments can be killer. Even if you create a arranged plan, if you end up using all the extra time just because you're procrastinating, it won't be good in the long run. This is how it goes. You feel unease while approaching the time to go for the training. You don't feel like it, and the risk is not going altogether. You may think, it's just one session. How bad could it be? But that's precisely how you start picking up a bad habit. I'm not talking about skipping one session because you have another important appointment, or if you really feel sick and recovery supersedes training. I'm talking about having no reason to skip a session, but still trying to find one. So making up a reason and therefore an excuse. This is what you should fear most, really. One way to go through such moments can be to just ignore it and go train. Wait for a better moment to come around. Is that easy? No. You will have every fiber of your body screaming at you, and you will have a terrible mood. Better not talking to anybody in those hours, believe me. But if you go, you will have the chance to flip the mood, to feel better again, to feel excited. Instead of keeping the grudge sitting at home and starting to feel guilty. And after you're done with your training, you will feel better because at least you tried. You weren't up to it, but you kept going and you made it. No matter if that session was horrible, you did it. Even chemically speaking, this is true because physical activity makes our bodies release beneficial neurotransmitters, such as, for example, dopamine, noradrenaline, and serotonin, which in short are the feel good chemicals that support a variety of functions of your body, such as cardiovascular, digestive, and immune system functions. And this translates into better protection from the stress that we are constantly subjected to. Actually, that session may even end in a good way, even better than you anticipated because you anticipated the worst. This may be the sole advantage of anticipating the worst. Generally speaking, I do not advise getting into this mood because if you imagine the worst scenario, you will tend to be negative on your performance and practically perform badly. However, sometimes we are simply stuck. No matter how much we try to get out of that awful mood, we keep spiraling into the black hole. If that's the case, then definitely use it to your advantage. Another way to push yourself is to decide for a lighter training. Only for that day, just tell yourself that today you will get into the gym, do a couple of stretches, some short cardio, a couple of machines, more stretches, and you're done. Home heading, easy peasy. Better, visualize yourself doing it. Yes, get your ass up and drive or sit into the subway, whatever you do, to go to the gym while listening to your preferred playlist. While you do this, visualize yourself literally at the gym and think about what stretches you want to do and which machines. Do you want to do more legs, arms, or your back? Whatever suits you. But think about it. Focus on that. And what if it's a pre-arranged class with a trainer? That may be a bit more tricky to regulate. But you can always push more or less during group classes. It's really up to you. If it's going to be very hard anyway, because it's a very advanced class and you're super good, but that day you just can't do it. Do yourself a favor and briefly talk with the trainer at the beginning and tell her that day you don't feel at your maximum, so you don't want to push too much. Yeah, maybe it's a lie, but a white one. Eventually, what happens is that maybe you will push even more because the pressure to perform is off. That happens to me all the time. My no days are often the ones when I perform better. Just because I decided to go lighter on myself without big expectations, that in the end, I don't stress on the outcome, but only on the act itself. Doing is better than the outcome itself. If that day you didn't even want to train at all to start off, don't you think? And now let's get into topic number 4, mood regulators. Now, let's do ourselves a favor and let's reframe for a moment what feeling sick really means when you are an adult, specifically an adult. If you don't feel mentally strong that day, it's comparable to being physically sick. At least, I believe we should categorize it this way for the sake of making more sense of what isn't yet. For example, there is a wide variety of biochemical reactions in our body that also change our perceptions of reality and may lead to feeling more tired, nervous, hungry, I don't know, or simply annoyed. Are you not convinced enough? Okay, so take this scientific experiment that was done on mice. Dr. Anderson and his collaborator, postdoctoral researcher Hai Jiang Tsai, accidentally discovered in 2014 that stimulating certain neurons in mice, they could control the mice's appetite. How, you may wonder. So, scientists, well versed in what they call the technique of optogenetics, yeah, I know, it's a big word. Basically, after performing previous genetical manipulation on the mice, they can influence specific cells via light with different wavelengths, also known as colors for common folks like us. A fiber optic cable is inserted into the mouse's brain, and the scientist will switch on and off the light. So in this case, they used the wavelength of the blue light and stimulated an area that they believed was supposed to make the mice anxious or frightened. So they wanted to study this behavior, and that's what they did. However, what happened next is that the mouse actually stopped eating altogether. They learned that by controlling the neurons responsible for that specific behavior, they could control the animal's appetite. Then they also tried to invert the behavior, successfully increasing the mouse's appetite, which worked using another wavelength, so a light of another color. Why am I telling you this? We don't have masters who switch on and off lights into our genetically modified neurons. Definitely not. But we are constantly subjected to a series of external factors that affect our physical system, our brain, our behavior. And when this happens, we have no idea what's going on. Like the mice had no idea why they were more or less hungry. So, if switching electricity in your neurons may change your sensations and finally behavior, what all the external factors could do to you. Think about the weather or eating and drinking certain foods and beverages, watching too much blue light from devices' screens, or a depleted bacteria biome in your gut. Or simply that day something in you is off. And you probably never know what it is that makes you off. The mouse didn't know the light was making it less or more hungry. It was only subjected to the action of wanting or not wanting to eat. Okay, this brings us to the final topic, which is topic number 5, listening to your body. As you can understand from the 2014 experiment, we always know more about the brain's functions, moderating our moods and behavior. But although we have made progress in the field of neurosciences, many things still stay hidden. I mean, I would love to have a home device that easily scans my brain, or maybe just my skin, and tells me what's going on with me. Do I have low sugar? Some vitamin deficiency? I got a concussion and I'm not reasoning? I'm totally inventing at this point. But imagine for a moment we had such a device. It would tell you in real time whatever the hell is going on with you. And maybe it could even give suggestions on what you can do to switch your mood, behavior, or whatever the problem you have. The thing is, without scientific proof, and we ruled out the easy access to obtain such proof, no doctor or nutritionist will tell you that you may have something underlying your external symptoms, not without final proof. And this is right. What you can do, though, is finding the patterns that better contrast your psychological and physical sickness. Most of the time, we don't listen to our bodies. It's almost like we don't have the sensation. But if you concentrate on it, you will find that in reality, the sensations are there, but are simply hidden by a lot of white noise. Sometimes, when you're concentrated in doing something, let it be working, studying, performing a routine, whatever, you will automatically ignore any signal from your body that isn't immediate, such as the feeling of needing to go to the restroom multiple times a day, hunger, thirst, sleep, or strong pain. Take thirst, for instance. If you're well informed, and I know you are aware that you shouldn't wait to be thirsty to drink water. This is because for a well-functioning body, you must continuously drink water. When you're thirsty, your body is already depleted, and even if you drink, it will take some time to replenish your cells, muscles, and tissues. But ignoring this is easy. Let's say I'm working from home. I easily drink water in time before I become thirsty because while I sit, a bottle of water is planted in front of me, and I drink it until it's over. Plus, I drink infusions or tea multiple times a day. This actually goes well with my routine. However, when I go out for an afternoon to the city center, I barely drink half a liter. Many reasons, of course, mainly because I cannot really visit the restroom so often as when I'm at home or in the office, but also because I'm very active doing something else, and I eventually forget to drink until my throat becomes a desert and it's too late. So, next time you feel like you want to kill someone because it's dark outside or you feel tired and unmotivated, think about this. Maybe you have a vitamin D deficiency, or you didn't eat enough fibers that day, or even your G tract is not functioning well. Who knows? You don't have the full perception, and so you don't always realize it. You only realize the bad mood. Therefore, please give yourself some kindness and know that your mood may be influenced by your body failures and that it's partially out of your control, at least for the immediate time. However, for the long term, you can explore your sensations and dig deeper to find the root cause. In this way, you can find solutions that will help you to change the pattern, your behavior pattern, for good. Instead of indulging, go get what you want and commit to it. A sauna awake during long winters makes you shine more? More carbs during the morning give you more energy? Vitamin D gives you more strength? Find it out and follow up. It's your body, your choice of making it better. Today we've seen what it means to be a beginner, getting started and making sure you do it living through the experience. Is a true push you need to make it happen, especially when you're starting off the first time or starting off again. Drawing from others can be also a push, but only if you are finally responsible for pushing yourselves and for fueling your motivations with a more or less calculated range. Make yourself accountable, keeping track of your positives and not of your negatives. Recognize the excuse versus the reason. And also, don't smash yourself if you have a legit reason to skip training that day. Think beyond your mood and question everything that crosses your mind. Don't let yourself drift away without noticing it. As we've seen with the mice, you can switch off and on your brain. Maybe not with a fiber optic cable and not in such an immediate way, but you can understand that some thoughts are indeed held to be ignored. In the same way, you need to learn how to ignore those thoughts and instead start focusing on your sensations. Don't ignore that pain that stays well under control until it isn't. Listen to your body, listen to your guts. Whatever the challenges you have as a beginner or as a seasoned athlete coming back to sport, you're not alone. Everybody has different physical and mental challenges to overcome. You can get inspired and explore other people's drives in the Athletes Facebook community that I'm building. We're just getting started, so it would mean a lot if you want to lead join the space. Next episode, we'll discuss how to ease into physical activity gradually to stay for the long term. No more starting off great and ending up quitting after 2 months. Also, I'm tailoring this podcast series to let you achieve your unique goals. What is the major roadblock to move your body? Is it time, work, and other commitments, or you simply get bored? Or maybe you have a topic you want me to talk about. Please let me know by writing a comment or answering the poll in the Athletes community or on your preferred social media platform, whatever you like. I'll post the links in the description box below, or you can visit the athlete.com website and reach out to me via the contact form. I'd love to hear from you. But you can also keep listening to the upcoming next episodes. Thank you for being part of the Athlete community. That's all for today. EJR out.